Now, yesterday I sowed my tomato seeds, the big Malacca tomatoes, and a few of you, well, actually a lot of you sent me emails asking where to position the actual tray. Do I keep it inside? Do I keep it outside? Now, whilst the seeds haven't germinated, they don't need direct sunlight. You can keep them somewhere indoors, protected, away from direct light. But as soon as they germinate and you start seeing the little bit of green coming through, they need some light. So they need to be placed near a windowsill or inside on a veranda where it's not windy. So basically protect them from the cold elements. And if you live in the warmer regions of Australia, well, how lucky are you? You don't even need a heat mat. They'll germinate in any soil, any time of the year. So for those who are suffering in the cold weather, keep them inside, in your garage, out of direct wind, cold weather at night especially. As soon as they start to germinate, bring them out. Make sure they're still covered so the wind doesn't get them, but the sun does shine on them because they need that light to be able to grow. Now, what I've got here are 3 pots, because we had a lovely friend of ours, Angela, I think it's from Red Fern, who sent us some wormwood. This is a fantastic plant. I was going to say delicious, but you don't eat it. You actually make a tonic out of it. It's a great insecticide, natural insecticide. You basically steep the foliage in some water, put it in a bottle and spray it around your garden, and it does deter insects, especially the pests, that is, from attacking your plants. So I'm going to propagate this, and if anybody else wants to grow some of their own herbs or flowering plants, it's pretty much the same process. You need a stem that's about 20 or 30 centimetres long. Now look at that, it's wilted. That's because there are no roots and it's unable to draw up enough moisture to keep that part alive. Now these were soaking, and I haven't got the jar here. I had them soaking in a jar of water with some liquid gold in it overnight. That is about 24 hours they've been sitting in there to get some of that wonderful nutrient in there to protect it and strengthen it up. Now that's very viable even though the leaves have wilted. So we're just going to cut those off. I'll take the tip off that. Cut all these out like that. You can pinch them off if you like. In actual fact, I might do that myself. That's all we need. We've got plenty of nodes, lots of areas here where it can actually propagate and grow foliage, that is. Not actually propagate roots, the roots come down here. Now, how do we treat the roots? Well, you can see that's just been torn off the end. Now, you can cut it straight, you can cut it on an angle. Whichever way you prefer is not really a concern. The aim is to actually cause a little bit of damage around the base so that it can callus over. But instead of callusing over and sealing completely, because it's going to be sitting in some soil, it'll actually throw out some roots. Now you can enhance that with some good old traditional honey. Now I know some of you are going to say, yeah, whatever, honey doesn't really work, that's old wives' tales. Well, you know, a lot of people do use it and they're very successful with it, so don't knock something if you haven't tried it. Give it a go, and if it doesn't work for you, well, then you can resort to your typical rootex gel, powder or liquid. Now that's a hormone stimulant. It'll basically help the roots grow. A root stimulant, sorry, hormone liquid. Bit of honey on the end of that. I'll just pass it up there a little bit higher, all the way across the top. Not bad honey. And then pop it in. Push it into the potting mix or seed raising mix or propagating mix, whatever you prefer. I'm not really fussed. I'll use potting mix in this case here. It'll work as long as you compact it well and it holds its moisture for you. So that's one done there. Now here, I've got a couple of decent sizes here. I can actually cut this in half, I think. Okay, I probably could. Yeah, let me just trim all these sides off. I don't need those. They'll grow again, but they'll just take up too much energy and they'll need too much moisture to stay alive. And rather than stressing the stem out or the plant to be out, well, no, we'll just use it like this. Now, I can cut the bottom off that if I like, because it may be a little bit long, but then again, I need to damage it. That will help it develop the roots. Now, this one here will stick into the liquid hormone. Have a look at this one here. Memorize it. Memorize it. Screenshot it, do whatever you got to do. I'm going to plant one next to it, one with honey and one with the rootex gel. Let's just hope both of them work, eh? So we've done that with the rootex gel and we push that into the ground about halfway in, press the soil down firmly around it, like that. And last but not least, we need to water in some liquid gold and Eco Boost to hydrate that soil and then place it somewhere where it's going to be protected. These are going to go into my little hothouse out the back there so the wind doesn't knock them about, because they do need light already. They're already above ground. They need the light to stimulate the growth back but down below. So put that aside. We've got one more over here. Oh, this is a tiny little one. No, I'm going to put that in there. I'm just going to put that with honey as well. And rootex. All right, for those who are really doubting everything, we've got best of both worlds. The third one down here, about halfway in as well, pop that in. Now remember, this one's got honey, this one's got rootex gel, and this little one down here has got everything. And here we were also gifted, oh look at that, even a worm. You better not be in the plant. No, you can't be, you just got to be in the soil. This is elephant garlic, folks, or perennial garlic. Angela sent these along with the wormwood, and we're going to plant these out in the garden, but I haven't prepared the second part of our garden bed, so I'm just going to pop these into this potting mix like that for temporary measure, so they don't dry out on me completely, because I want them to continue growing. And being garlic, a bulb, it's quite safe to leave out, but I don't know how soon I'm going to have the garden bed ready. So drop it in the ground there like that. Once you finish planting, always give them a dose of liquid gold and Eco Boost. I sound like a broken record. Well, if that's what it's going to take for you to give it a go, so be it, because you will not be disappointed. It will work. So from me, Vasily, Maresi, plant your wormwood cuttings and some garlic into the garden now. Remember folks, the little bit of damage that I caused at the bottom of that stem is to help it heal over, and rather than healing, because it's sitting in some soil, it'll actually grow some roots out there with the stimulant that we've added. That's the honey or the rootex gel. Maresi.